I would say so.
Then I've Gus, Anthony Fisher is not a referee, Kyle.
Steve Gore.
Steve Gore's
That doesn't
online,
matter.
right, with one proxy. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, plus what we have in the room, plus 2 proxies. So 6.
Like how when we try to get something done, we don't have enough people here.
6, 7, 8,
Required.
9, 10.
Oh, we got Mosaic. I assume that's Mosaic.
4, 25, 26, 27, 27. 27 with Mosaic. We need 8 more.
Huh?
You have any phones? Start texting people. There's no 7 more. I'm sorry. So Mally's here. That's 6 more.
What's not registered? He's not a good thing. You have proxy for Phil Schwan. Mike, is it possible to get you get that in writing, Phil? That's kind of the rule.
So we're missing 6.
You can make stuff up. I mean, whatever.
Bill
Cassidy didn't give anybody his, right? He just said he wasn't going to make it. It's supposed to be through Mark. Yeah. So if the person the text, I guess you can show it to them. I don't know. Sure. Yeah, get it in text. Flash.
Art's here, so it's 5, right? Where's the math here? Yeah.
Brewer. Good.
4.
Oh, no more Chris Brewer. Oh, there he is. Hey, Chris. Charlie.
2 more. Am I just making shit up?
Who?
Jen Schwab?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, we should probably write this down.
Yeah.
So you have Jen Schwab proxy? Okay, great. You have her. Okay, cool. Got it. All right. So you have her proxy.
Oh, hi, Bob. Hi, Bob.
Oh, 3 more.
Are you on?
Where's the language about rules?
It was sent out in the October meeting.
Oh.
Proxy's not covered. It's up to the EC.
Oh, you're such a good bow.
Oh,
So that way.
And years ago, we established the opportunity to take off. Yeah. It's both ways, Jim. Some people choose to give us a proxy that gives us specific instructions, and others say they just give it an open proxy. So it won't be allowed. We've always allowed both.
Yes. Yes, John.
Oh.
Or has 2 properties.
Yay! Yay!
Yay! Not me.
All right, so
Hey. Fantastic.
24 years.
Great.
24.
All right, I'll start the. Wait. Everybody, thanks for showing up. This is the December meeting for yep, we're ticking over.
Okay, so we have a quorum, so based on the 24 here, based on the folks that are online, based on the proxy.
Okay, yep, we have quorum, sweet. All right, so we'll go through that in a second here. So, thanks everybody for showing up. It's been a great year, 2023. So things that we're gonna go through are, we've got presentations from the executive committee talking about how great we are, as well as we've got what we've got going on, and then we will have, after we talk about executive committee's points. There we go. We've got the executive committee's points, and then we'll go to the election, which is just stand up, sit down kind of deal, because it's not competitive this year. We only had one person per position.
Keep talking.
Okay, and then we will talk about the amendment. So everybody understands that the amendments will be last. Please stick around. We currently, as Ross has said, we have a quorum based off of the numbers that we have right now. We can't dip below the quorum number. So with that, Ross, I think you're up.
All right. Is there any lasagna left? Brings up the slides. This is just kind of a general summary. This is just a summary of financial position right now. If anybody's interested in detail, I'd be happy to share it with you. But in general, total deposits, which is things that come from ref up when people purchase items, and the money is coming in. We brought in about $30,000. In our Schwab account were established under the previous regime a long time ago, and we honestly haven't touched them much, but they have grown over the last year or two. So last statement that I saw was roughly about $104,000 in it. So financially, we're in great shape. We have not touched that, and I hope not to, but as we get into the expenses and kind of what you guys saw through the year, because of that hefty amount that we have in the bank, that's why we were a little bit more generous and liberal with bringing in kit and socials and exchanges and marketing and everything else like that. But again, we haven't touched that. So breaking down dues and subscriptions, these are different things. QuickBooks charges like a monthly thing. Again, if you want details, come speak to me. I can break it down. I can show you the actual books and whatnot. Big cost items, socials and entertainment, roughly 40, 20, 40% Aspen, 40% the banquet, a couple of fall and spring socials that we put on, and then just miscellaneous things. But the majority of that are those first two events. The banquet was, for those that attended, was a lot of fun, and nobody had to pay unless they brought spouse or something. So, and we hope to do that every year. So that was a big, about 50% of that amount. I don't even remember off the top of my head what miscellaneous means. Off supplies, we did do Evite, and sending out the mass Evite cost money. Zoom subscription, we're going to get rid of because we don't use Zoom, right? We use Google Meet now. This is Zoom. Okay, good.
And they last longer than that.
Okay. Well, then we did. That's why we paid for it then. We did have to send out some kit bags and tracksuits for people from out of town that we don't typically see, so we did pay for some postage with that. QuickBooks has its own like kind of monthly stipend plan. We paid some additional monies in referee stipends of $250, contract labor, which is kind of for my services a little bit per month. We did spend a little over $1,500 in scholarships for airfare and lodging for people to go to different camps and whatnot. Kit in what we've purchased, about $2,500 on that. Additional food for events, mainly tournaments and all that, was almost $300. Canopy and flags were almost $1,200. We have some recognition things that we got throughout the year, it was about $1,100, which includes the coins, which will last us probably for the next 10 years. And then we had a little bit more travel exchanges, $1,300. The total expenses were about $14,600. So as you can tell, also on top of that, we do have some outstanding invoices from some D1A schools, CSU Air Force Academy, and Aspen, totaling roughly $2,800. So there's some expected money coming. That's our financial position. Any questions? Yep. So Rep Up handles everything. The way Rep Up happens is Gore and Rep Up, it's all automated behind the scenes. The clubs pay Rep Up pays the and then one week or however often it happens. Rep Up pays us whatever residuals after paying out mileage and all that kind of stuff. That's how Rep Up works.
But what is that on there?
It's in the deposit.
Oh, it's in deposit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do we have expenses as that goes out?
All the Ref Up, like all the charges that are part of Ref Up kind of come out of what the clubs pay. So basically, like I said, I just reconciled, I've got all the bank statements here. We can look at it. QuickBooks stopped communicating with our bank about 5 months ago, and I didn't get them on the phone, so I had to like manually reconcile it. And it's a real pain in the ass. If you're interested in getting details, we can get Steve on the phone. We can look at it in detail, or you can look through the extract. And good luck with that too. That's net deposit total. That's also including money that people paid for bags directly to the society. Gross deposit, yes.
He's asking, they're trying to get down to the point of how much money.
It's part of that gross deposit. Yes. No, that's growth of what we made, I guess, in profit from Rep Up after referees have been paid.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
So we do not, another way to say it,
It's
we
net.
do not record any revenue associated with the actual payment by the team to Rep.
Correct.
Nor do we record any expenses as relates to stipends paid to referees through Rep Up.
Right.
So that is the part of that 30 is the net of that
Right.
profit that Rep Up sends to us.
200 minus 150 for the rep, for example, plus a couple dollars to Rep Up, minus mileage, however, and that's generally how. Again, if you try to reconcile that against the extract.
If anybody's on Zoom, please mute yourself and turn yourself down. If you're like looking to monitor the chat or something like that. Thank you.
No.
Working.
Well, that's why I could hear you. All right. It's really difficult, and I'm still trying to figure out like how that reconciliation. I think there's talk with Steve to make that a little bit more clear and coherent, because right now we get an extract every day, I guess, if you want to look at it, but it's almost impossible to reconcile again for anybody. And by the way, I'm not an accountant, nor do I take this job to be an accountant, but I'm doing my best as far as the reconciliation. So again, yeah. This is a summary. I didn't want to take forever to go over the numbers, and I brought it all with me if you're really interested. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, again, I brought it with me, so if anybody's really interested in the details, I have it all. Any other questions? Okay,
Cool. No. I don't know where. All right, so break down all the things that we the society did. So the first thing that we got was new jackets. So last year we had the shell jacket. This year we got a more standardized version of the puffy. I ordered mine. They were on back order, so they're on. I know that mine's on the way. I actually called Lucy because I'm like, did I actually pull the trigger on making that purchase? We also started having a new thermal layer. So thermal layer, everybody hasn't got one. The one that has the Rocky Mountain. Sorry, I'm also monitoring the chat, and most days AI assistant. Weird. So that's the thermal layer. That's for our colder early season, late season stuff. We also have supplied the jerseys and shorts, restocked the supplied jerseys and shorts. We provided shorts and socks in Aston, and then we got that's supposed to read the kit for Aston was reimbursed through sponsorship. So one of the worries that I know that was coming from both membership here and then also Rocky Mountain, the league membership, is that they don't want to be paying for something that they're not able to utilize. So we started getting sponsorships in to pay for that. So that is something that I believe is one of our future targets, is to start getting sponsorship for kits for our actual group. And then we also started, we purchased a tent and flag, kind of like every other team. We've got that one that's up in the upper right hand corner, become a referee, as well as one of those big teardrop flags.
Cool.
We got two of them, so that way we can put them on fields and stuff like that.
Actually worked.
And it worked. Yeah, we actually had people come up to us and say, "Hey, how do we do this?" And then, so yeah. Next slide. I'm paying attention. Yeah.
I'll kind of take this over from Mr. Lawrenson. We, as an organization, have two World Rugby educators that are offering classes, myself and Karen Fong Donahue, and essentially Jen Gray, if she's still in good standing. But so we've ran 3 level 1 referee courses, and these are the names that took. Sorry, some of the spelling on there. Oh, shit, can't adjust that. So congratulations and welcome to these new referees. If you are here and on the chat, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your continued development, and thank you for taking the plunge. The hard part is over. Yeah.
So other things that we've done in the past year include, so we had the L1s, so that's actually 3, 2 in Glendale, 1 in Colorado Springs. We did have 2 referees go to the national development group camp in Chula Vista, in the bottom left-hand corner. And we were able to get our new L1 referees out and refereeing quite quickly. So that's one of our referees, ARing. I think that she had taken the one like 2 weeks prior. So that was a pretty quick turnover. Yeah, she had taken that, and that was the one that was the next step. So yeah, it's that's always the hard part for recruitment, is getting them out quickly. Next. So we were able to support a bunch of different events. The major one in the spring was Super Rugby Americas. That's put on by, that has the American Raptors based here in Glendale. We were able to host a fair number of referees as they came in from abroad. We flew them, we drove them around, did all the things that kind of were required to do by as a society, as well as making it nice while they're at home. We were able to fully staff these with our high performance referees, and it gives us the ability to develop experiences that we've missed since MLR left. As well as the major one there being congratulations to Chris O'Malley learning the new role of television match official. So as we can see, that helped you go far. Next. So we started doing, we continued doing our in-person meetings, as everybody sees here and on your wonderful email thread. We had high performance referees present. And then we started doing, we started to conduct our work outside. So that was a big deal because, like this meeting, unfortunately, it's a lot of 1 to 5 people looking at each other, talking at you, and we can do that via Zoom or YouTube or whatever. But what we were trying to do in the past year is have value added as well. One of the things that I wrote in that message was teams practice and referees seem to not, right? So we do a lot of talking, but at a certain point you got to do the do. And so that's why running lines are important and things like that, because yes, it's nice to have a referee coach show up after your game and talk you through what you did wrong, but at the same time, let's try to get you something ahead of time. Oh, thank you. You advanced that. So other things that we've done have been, we've conducted exchange with now 6 LROs, most of them being through the Aspen Exchange. We had 2 people from British Columbia. We had 1 referee and 1 coach from Texas. We had somebody from Met, New York, Mid-America, Michigan, and Devon, England. We were able to then get 1 person out to Devon, which kind of has restarted the professional cycle that we get. So one of the things about exchanges is sometimes they're exchanges and sometimes it's feelings of goodwill, and we get to kind of have that kind of interaction with people. So Devon and British Columbia, if those are true exchanges, because those are international, sometimes you have to get paperwork signed to get out there. Where Texas, Met, New York, Mid-America, Michigan, that kind of stuff, Southern California, Northern California, that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that we get to kind of let people know, like, hey, Rocky Mountain Rugby referees aren't so bad. Let's have us come out there. Next. So we were able to have some social events, as Paul alluded to before, with the at least the budget line item. So we were able to put out, some awards. We had a admin of the year, newcomer of the year, and a referee of the year. Seeing there, we were able to give them plaques. The other thing that we did was give out pins, based off of years of service. So years with Rocky Mountain Rugby in particular. So we were able to hand those out, as well as we were able to do Top Golf in February, and some referee fitness events as required by other groups, as well as to kind of encourage people to do some fitness themselves. So look for more of those in the coming years, and hopefully that awards banquet, so dutifully put on by Paul and myself. It's the first annual, not the only. Next. So we'll talk about promotions here. So sorry, I misspoke. I know. Sorry. So we were able to have 3 folks move from level 10 to level 9. This is based off of having at least some experience, and then that gets you access to women, girls, teams. There's a wide range. We can talk about that later. So these are our promotions. High school. Yeah, you actually get to referee high school instead of just try. Seen in the photo, Brian Wright.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Two of them have. Well, Car's on the call, so 3 of them. Noah's on the call, so 4 of them.
Yeah, great. Next. All right. If you want to back that up, I'll cover some other stuff. So we'll leave this one up. What went down?
Your mic.
My mic sound went down? All right. So other things that
You're back.
He's looking at chime in. All right, moving on. So other things that we were able to do was we were really able to develop our social media presence. If anybody does Instagram, you would have seen a lot more photos. We were able to double the number of followers that we have. Why is this important to the people that don't have Instagram? Because that was able to catapult us into the $2,000 that we were able to get for sponsorship for a 1 weekend event, right? So that's part of our big thing. In January, we were able to have our first extended EC meeting. So that was everybody from the executive committee down to, RDOs and referee, coach, managers, and all that kind of stuff. So that was great. Having in-person meetings is really important as we start to kind of develop a working relationship. Let's see what else. So we had in May, we had 2 referees go to the Super Regional in Las Vegas, which is pretty impressive, especially based off of how far they had to travel to get there, lack of funding, that kind of stuff. So congratulations to Phil and Katie on that. Let's see. And then in October, we were able to support the WPL semifinal and final, as well as having the D3 men's club final here, which revolved around, we put on a good show for that. Otherwise,
there is a women's program that is run by Amanda Cox for developing referees. And our own Katie Roth has been added to that. It's called the Eagles Claw program. So, and she just was invited as part of that program to go to the Mary Graham Festival, to which she had a great performance.
on Saturday and then did the final on Sunday. So congratulations, Katie. And then as far as like the assignments in Ruggerfest, one of our most coveted type of assignments are the over 35 final, which went to Mike Lawrenson, I believe. And then Joe Burbo got to do the open final, which is you know, a big ask, and it was a great game for both of us.
Now, we have an amendment to the opt.
All right, as requested, and fortunately, Steve, who runs Ref Up, is part of our society, and he was able to give me some better numbers. The organization as a whole brought in $58,000. We paid out 42,000, and which of that 30 that was in the reconciliation, 16 of it came from Ref Up. Yep.
Anybody have any questions on? I think we've kind of done the Q&A with ops. We don't need to beat that one. Anybody have any questions on the CARES update / recruiting update? Really? Okay. Yeah. Mike, Chuck says that the business cards are great, especially the ones that you sell.
What are words?
Yeah, what are words? Recruiting is not. All right. So I guess the next thing that we're going to do is we can do the. Oh, I didn't update that. I thought you were going to update that. So no, we don't worry about that. What's the blue one? Yeah, let's do that one. Oh yeah, just click it to the next one. I don't know what this is. No, I didn't update that. I thought you guys were. So next.
Well, no, Mike must put this in. So
No, I put that in. That's 2022.
Oh.
So get.
Last year.
Yeah.
Mike Lawrence's name probably has a seat.
Yeah. All right, so we've got two things that we're going to go over for the rules and regs with the AGM process. So here's for all the people that are there. There's the voting rules. Text mark your vote if you're online. Otherwise, we'll figure out how to do the amendments, because we're just going to do the EC stuff. So the first thing, we have one person running for recruitment and retention, Katie Roth. Do we have a second? Great. Second. All opposed? Too bad. Katie. Come on down.
Shout out to Mike Lawrence for doing a tremendous job of improvement in the city. You literally have big shoes to fill because it's a big fella.
Yeah.
So, and I look forward, yeah.
So I'm gonna, yeah, he just said.
Here, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Katie, we look forward to you doing big things. So yeah, Chris, did you have something? Yeah, and you did yourself.
Oh, wait.
Next, we've got ops. The only nomination, Paul Johnson. Seconded, great. All opposed? Too bad. Paul, you're stuck.
Most thankless job ever.
Yeah. Paul's been doing a great job. He's been a pleasure to work with these last nearly 2 years. I appreciated you stepping up when we lost the last guy. So yeah, it was I appreciate it. So it's been good. So last one, is for chair. We have one nomination, Mark Nelson. Second?
No, that.
I'll, yeah, seconded. No opposition, so Mark, you're stuck. Chair, good luck, buddy.
Yeah, sorry, I guess this has been
Here you go.
23 years coming. I finally got suckered into it.
I do want to say, like, Joe, in the last 2 years, done a really tremendous job, running there. He's put more work in behind the scenes and done a hell of a job. So I think give Joe his full memo on EDC and say, thank you, Bill, that was really good job. Oh, thank you. Oh, this one? Oh, very nice. Thank you very much. That's what, thank you. What's the second? Very good. We did, yeah, we done a pretty test. There's nothing we didn't do, we did by that. So again, another good round.
Art, can you still hear me? Yeah, great, thanks. So the one thing that I would say to everybody here and the people online and do all that kind of stuff is that when you see a problem, come up with a solution before you complain. My big purpose running for chair the first time around is that I saw an issue, I wanted it corrected, and I didn't know of another way to get it. I didn't know of another way to correct it, besides trying to take the reins. And luckily, that first time we were kind of coming out of COVID, the world was my oyster kind of deal. And I was able to have some strong support from Mark, who I've known for quite a while, to kind of poke me in that direction. We had some EC changes to get started. You know, we basically, a lot of people found out that this was a much harder job than you kind of let on, right? I started off with totally dark hair, right? So had more of it. So that's something that I would take away from everybody with this new EC. Some of the faces are the same as the last, but if you have a problem, yeah, try to come up with an idea. And if you don't know an idea, start to brainstorm and come in with a positive outlook. Don't just say, I don't like the way that this is going, and then walk away. That's not the way that this works. We're a society. We're supposed to be a team. Keep that idea together. So anyway, thanks.
So we're gonna call to vote for the agenda, and then I just want to have a quick chat about my vision for the organization. So, I guess the first item of agenda is, I can't change that, is, I can't,
What do you mean?
It doesn't matter which one we do.
yeah, let's,
No, it doesn't.
all right, so Jim Russell, put forth, an item of discussion, or what do we call it, an agenda? A resolution for discussion.
The AGM.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, Jim, do you want to just give us a quick summary? That was part of the board.
Sure.
How many people are involved in this meeting? 5.
We have a quorum. 35.
According to the website, we have 77 members.
We have 69 registered with USA Rugby.
That, for us to be considered that's
69.
69, because you have to be registered with USA Rugby as a Rocky Mountain Rugby referee, and then you have to be registered ref up. So that, those two numbers together, 69.
And then 35 is quorum.
And then quorum is half.
Half plus one.
The rules require that 60% registered members. How many registered members do you have?
Okay, so we've got,
How many?
69.
all right, so on here, people that don't count towards this number, so we've got 19 on this,
We have 19.
that don't count because they're double counted. Me, Mark, Anthony Fisher. Whose iPhone? I'm gonna unmute, I'm gonna ask you to unmute, and then you can tell me who you are.
There's how many?
41.
We need 41. How many registered members?
Person who is listed as just iPhone, I've asked you to unmute. Can you please unmute so that way I know who you are, so that way we can count, get a proper count?
If you click on participants, you will be at the top of the list. You will see that you are iPhone.
Larry. Trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
We have 26.
Did you message that person?
Yeah. I also want to count that up real quick.
Robin. Oh, Mark, can you
Yeah.
stop, working on it, Kyle. 27 in the room, and then we've got probably 15 online. We don't have 42.
We have 3 proxies and 42. We have enough.
Yep. We've got three proxies.
Yes,
Yes,
we have
we have
over
quorum.
42 people.
All right. Thank you for the point of order.
What's that?
Oh,
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim is gonna give a summary, then we'll have a short discussion. And then we'll vote. We're gonna vote on paper for those that are here. If you have a certified proxy, Mark has a pad, he'll give you the papers for those that are certified proxy, and then we'll just hand them out otherwise. And then we'll do the same thing for the second resolution that Katie has submitted.
Jim, use the microphone. Right?
Yeah.
This is a mic?
Okay, thanks. I made this, proposed this amendment in October, was sent out, and I handed out hard copies in October and was sent out in November. I've been concerned that we've had very, very poor, in my opinion, live, in-person attendance at these meetings. This one tonight is the best I've seen in years. How many are there, Joe, here? Huh? 27 here, live. Usually it's 5 or 10, something like that. I happen to think we get a lot more out of it as refs and referee officials by the live interaction that happens in this room, either during the meeting and sometimes immediately thereafter. As Joe said, they've made a strenuous effort in the last year to have outside activities. You know, everybody goes out there, pack down, let's watch, see how the front row practices their dark arts. And here's some running lines, etc. None of which happens if you're not here live. Now, nobody can make every meeting. So I said, let me see what we can do to make people come more often. Now, there's been a lot of email discussions about this today, and somebody said, well, I can't drive all that way, et cetera, even though I can go referee, but that's another matter. That may be true. On the other hand, I think you get so much more out of it, and I think Joe had a comment that people who actually attended seem to do better when they're here and afterwards. So I think it's invaluable, and it makes the rep better, and I think it makes society stronger if we're here sharing comments. So that's why I said, how can we change this? They offered the carrot of coming here more and doing stuff as opposed to just talking, just looking at screens, let's go outside and do things. Didn't work. So I don't know what other carrot we can do. Somebody just paying people to attend like we pay them to ref. That's up to the executive committee. But in the absence of a carrot that works, the only thing I could think of was a stick. And so that's why I've proposed this amendment. And I'll read it in case people don't have it in front of them. To maintain status as a member in good standing and retain all rights and privileges associated therewith, all match officials, includes coaches and stuff, will attend live in person and not just by video or other means, at least 50% of all society meetings as described in Article 5 of these rules and regs and procedures. Failure so to attend at least 50% of the meetings to relegate that match official to status of member not in good standing as described in these rules and regs. So that's the proposal. And the people said, I don't want to travel, it's too hard, et cetera, et cetera. I can see people who are on the Western Slope, and somebody called in and said he's from Wyoming and didn't want to come down 2 hours. My wife lives in Wyoming. I go back and forth every week. No problem. But I guess I get more out of her than I do going to these meetings. That's another matter. But I think it's extremely valuable and we get a lot out of in person. So that's why I made this proposal, and it's up to everybody on what they want to do.
Want to just do pros and then cons? Thank you. You got to speak into at least the box mic. Preferably.
Okay, can you hear this? Good?
Yeah.
Just some questions. Of the 69 refs, how many are actively physically reffing, let's say in the last 2 years?
We don't have that.
You don't have that data, okay. And would that include youth ref who's too young to drive everything, okay? And do we have an average number, an average, how many refs have been participating in the monthly meeting?
Probably about 23.
23, okay. All right, thank you.
In person, it's probably closer to 15. Online, it's probably another 8.
Number of physically active refs, I think.
Physically active, so take that 69 and then there's some people that are registered. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you are an active participant in the society. Same thing with Joe. Guys, just to let you know, because we are trying to do this via Zoom. We still have the current rules of Zoom within it's Charlie Jones. Yeah, I get it. No, Charlie, I understand your position. Yeah. Anyways, if anybody needs to talk, because we are still doing this via Zoom, you got to come up here and you got to talk into the box. Yeah. We made Jim do it. Everybody else can do it too. Yeah. Yeah. Jim's point, I feel like, I'm sorry for whoever is actually watching this. Actually, you could spotlight. But yeah, so click on the three dots. Nope. Well, yeah. Hold on a second, Ryan. Thanks. Upper right-hand corner of the actual image. Nope.
Where?
On the internet, right there. Click on Kim. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, there we go. So I understand Jim's point on what we're here. I'm just a person. I understand Jim's point. The point being is that the major point being is that referees who show up to these society events are better off than the referees who do not. I understand that there is an issue with some people getting here on Mondays when they work or whatever. You might do shift work and it's every Monday you start at 6, right? That's what happened at my last job. I understand that. The purpose being is that we have to find a way to get the education that we are providing to our membership to our referees. Plain and simple. We are trying to figure that out. And if you want to be a bunch of folks who it's only based off of your perception of the game as we're watching it, or then we're going to lag behind. And our higher level referees will get better and our lower level referees will not, because they will not be the people that attend and do not have the education. And so overall, I think Jim's point is that we had to get something on paper so that way we can have this discussion and that way we can get people fired up about how to get this done. The fact that we actually had discussion in an email thread about this proposal, I think is part of Jim's winning point, is that we need to have this happen. Should we have had this 30 days ago? Yeah, probably, but referees are a bunch of procrastinators, obviously. So before you get all fired up about, oh, you're kicking me out of the society, or you're not taking into account my personal opinion or direction or anything like that, we can make something up right now. This does not require a bylaws change on what a referee in good standing is. Jim just wanted to go that direction. Referee in good standing is somebody right now, according to our bylaws, is somebody that can be voting here right now. That's it. And then it is up to the EC's decision on what else that means. That might mean they're not able to go on exchanges. They might not be able to go to the awards dinner. That's a lot of other teams and societies. If you're not in good standing, you're not able to go to the AGM. Katie, you've got your hand raised.
Thank you. So I guess my question was, for a good standing member, is it just that you are registered with USA Rugby and ref up? Do you have to do a certain amount of games, like any games in a season? So currently there is, can I give an opinion on this article at this point? Cool. Probably, yeah. Okay. So currently this article would change it to be that going to these meetings would be more important than actually refereeing during the season, which I don't think is necessarily fair. Not saying I want to add anything about you must referee at least one game within the year to be a member of good standing, but I do think education is important. I'm a teacher in my day job, but I think this would overemphasize the importance of meetings. And I think there are other ways to achieve the same goal of getting more people to show up. I have a bunch of ideas on how to change that. And now that I am in the executive committee, I'm looking forward to creating those opportunities. Within the email chain, I think Jen made a really good point on kind of maybe we can have trainings based on location. Like, Paul, are you Colorado Springs? No? Yeah. I mean, already within the executive committee, I live in Northern Colorado. I'm more than happy to run some meetings up there. I know we have people down in Colorado Springs already. Like, we can make these groups that would be more accessible.
We have high performance referees in all of these. Organize things in other ways.
Just going to Russ first and then you. Yeah, so what? Okay, yeah, Russ. There you go.
Russ, come on up, please.
Russ, you gotta come up, mate.
Concerned that we're mixing the knitting here with the administrative function of the society and the development of referees. Now, I think Katie's onto something here. I think geographically, the society could have training functions on an appropriate night. It doesn't have to be a consistent night of a consistent day. And then the administrative functions can be handled during the scheduled meetings that are, on the calendar all the time. I just want to make that point. I think we're.
Chris? Thank you, Russ, for your comment.
Well, I think everyone agrees that we want more people at these meetings. More engagement is always a good thing. I don't think this amendment is the best way to do it. I don't think mandating attendance is the best way to drive encouragement. Even for people who do think that is the best method, I think we all acknowledge that people have other commitments, be it work, family, kids, travel, outside of this that are out of our control. I don't think it's wise to put an amendment in our Constitution that doesn't make room for that. So I think if we're going to amend our bylaws, it needs to not just, say that we'll make exceptions. If we want that, it needs to be in the law. So I think we should vote against this tonight.
Any other comments, Pierre?
More, and then we'll go ahead.
Then we'll call to a vote.
So I totally think that the number of meetings could be increased as far as in person, but I don't know if, 2% is the right one. Everybody's got their personal reason why. So for me, I live in Loveland, and I think about the meeting that took place in November. It was 30 minutes, and for me to drive 2 hours plus for a 30-minute meeting doesn't make any sense, thinking about the environmental impact. But I think there's ways for the education. So I don't know if anybody else is a coach here, but we have to do online courses, and you have to have all your certification in the annual concussion course, safe sport. Okay, good. So certainly that's one way you could make sure that people are keeping up and getting educated via online. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do a vote. Jim, I'm sorry. Okay. Go Mike, and we'll come back to you, Jim, and then we'll vote.
Thanks very much. I think all the comments that we've heard so far this evening are inward focusing, i.e. what the impact is to us as referees. What we also have to consider is the stakeholders and our customers, the clubs themselves. If we put forward a 2-tier system of referees, those that are in good standing and those that are not, are we then going to implement a different fee structure for referees who are not in good standing? Because if I was a club and I realized my referee for the day was a not in good standing referee, I think that has wider implications. precisely.
Say Chris is a member.
My point precisely, the thing is that we get up. That you cannot say, well, this is a list that is for internal only. I think the ripple implications have to be thought through before we take a vote as significant as this.
Just in response to what Mike said, the guidelines or rules, whatever they're called, already, provide for members in good standing and members not in good standing. So that's always been the case. On a point of procedure that I finished at the beginning, change this, take 42 votes. We got 42 people participating. So any one vote cancels it out. Jim, I guess that's it. So I read through the laws and it says with 60% voting. Voting, yeah. It doesn't say they have to vote for it or they have to vote against it. It just says they have to vote. So, so we're going to go ahead with the vote and we'll see where it comes out. But it is poor. I will admit, Jim, it probably could have been better written. Neither one of you or I wrote it. Yes, okay, voting instructions. If you are here in person, you should have a piece of paper. If you don't, get one from either side. Vote yes or no or abstain. If you don't want to vote, just put abstain. So you still voted, but you decided you weren't going to take a position. No, we got another one for the next vote. We'll throw these out and we'll give another one for the next vote. If you are on Zoom, you can text Mark for the instruction that he provided earlier that he'll put back up. Hold it, guys. Hold it, guys. Or if you want to use the chat room and you don't care if other folks know what you're voting, you're welcome to do that as well. So either one of those would work. If you have a proxy for someone, a certified proxy, then you need an extra piece of paper. Please come up and get those certified proxies from Mark so you can vote for the proxy as well. Okay. And we'll use the same procedures for the next vote. Okay, fine. Oh, yeah. Just because they stood around with the rest. One of them. People don't retire. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Can't believe you did them all back. So, lost the red card. 23 months. This red time on? No, it's red time on. Two sentences. 24. Oh. So,
Okay, real quick, guys, that measure has failed to, pass. Katie, would you like to come present the next measure? I have it on my email real quick, or I actually sent it to Mark.
I should be able to find it.
resolution?
Yeah, I was gonna say how it was. Okay. Yep. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. All right. I'm gonna do this super casually.
Guys, pay attention, please.
All right, can everyone hear me? All right, good enough, sweet. So proposed amendment is a referee should not referee more than one assignment in a single day unless the assignments are at the same venue or with the approval of the executive committee. Such exceptions may be allowed due to lack of coverage on matches or tournaments and last minute changes. So kind of in general, like unless you're at the same pitch, so if you're at Boulder and you are doing the D4 game and then being an AR for the D2 game, that's fine. It's at the same pitch. You're using the same team of three in the same couple matches. What this is looking to dissuade is someone that is reffing in Cook Park and then driving immediately after that game to go and referee a game in Boulder. So for me, this comes to recruitment and retention. If we have the same 3 referees covering 5 matches a single day, that's 2 matches that someone could be learning and developing on, but they're not getting that opportunity. So kind of like, unless there's last minute changes, because yes, there are things that if you have a family emergency, you need to drop that, and someone's already at that pitch, cool, they run to a back-to-back game. Maybe you're already in Denver, you can run over to a different pitch. But in general, like taking away opportunities from other people by getting as many matches as you can in a weekend doesn't seem all that fair to me. It's kind of the leading factor behind this. Sure.
Most I've done in a while. Are you comfy over there? Just curious. Is this amendment purely to make sure assignments are spread more fairly, or have we had instances where this has affected the standard running of a match during the season?
Yeah, I think it's much more of the equity base where I've known people to have a morning match and then last minute hop on a different match that they went to late. So kind of like they started at their normal match in the beginning of the day and then were late to a tournament later in the day and took away from another referee from being there all day. So kind of, does that answer your question? Okay.
Something else happening. Our referees are taking, sorry, the upper level referees are taking lower level games. We have a barrier that keeps the lower level referees from reffing senior games. I think we could have one in the other direction, which keeps our level 6s from refereeing level 9. That'll also open up more opportunities for the rookies.
Yeah.
Is that an acceptable amendment to your?
I think that's a good point. It's not within this particular one. I think that can be managed by the executive committee for this season. And if we need to make a formal amendment, we can.
Yeah.
I just want to make a couple comments on this because I monitor ref up religiously. I think there's enough room in this amendment to allow for a lot of, exemptions and stuff. There's just, on any given weekend, we could have anywhere from 10 to 35 openings. And on some weekends, we only have 23 refs available. It happens all the time. I think what this amendment is trying to address are the games that are in ref up upwards of 2 weeks in advance. 10 days in advance, you've been assigned to those games and you've put out 6 different bids for 6 different games or 3 different bids for 3 different games. And like you said, you're in Cook Park, and I've seen a couple instances where they had 3 games in one day. And so I think there's enough written into this to kind of dissuade that, but also allow us as the executive committee the approval because, let's say, okay, Jim Bob, Mark, you've got a game at Cook at 10, and then you're supposed to be in Boulder for a game at 1. Is that plausible? What if that game stops? You know, what if they confirm on Thursday that they move the game to 11? Now you're gonna be late, and now everyone moves up. So it's not fair to the teams. It's not fair to the other referees, like Keith mentioned. But there are a lot of circumstances where we just don't have the rest available. And so I think if we ask, basically this kind of gives us the power, and if you will, but also kind of the direction in the bylaws to give you the direction to say which of these 6 games you really want, and then put your boost towards it. And I'm assuming that everyone here knows how to work ref up. Put your boost towards the game you really want. And then by the Wednesday, 10 days before when those games are assigned, if you didn't get the game you want, then there are usually games available. And if there aren't any games available, then that means we had enough referees to cover the weekend. If there are games available, then after the fact, then seek the executive committee approval. Those are my comments on this. I support it.
No, you had a comment? Sorry, Jim, raise your hand up first.
So with this process, so I understand the back end of what ref up looks like prior to the awarding of games. So you can always see, you can only see the one person who's gonna win. You can't see how many boosts that person used. You can't see, it is just who's gonna win that one. And that might list that one person multiple times. How is it going to be regulated so that way that person properly removes themselves? What if the person that's next up on that list after they remove themselves from their second game is also another person, like another repeat customer? Like, how do we know that we're going to get something assigned, especially by utilizing refup.io?
From my understanding of ref up, you can bid on as many games as you want to within a weekend, and you'll win one of them. Unless you do the function to tie 2 matches together. So what we're asking here is basically, unless the matches are at the same pick, don't tie anything together. Then you only win one of the games. You still bid on 5 different games, but say I really want to work on a D3 women's game. I'm going to put 5 points on there. I might still put a point on the high school boys 7s because I'm okay doing that, but I'd rather do a different one. I'll only win one of those 2 bids. So you can still bid on whatever you want to, but if you already win a bid, don't take another one in that same day. Like, that's kind of what this amendment is asking. And it would take a lot of like oversight from us and making sure that we're checking to make sure that people are holding up to this. Like, we're making sure that you're not actually taking 2 assignments unless there's a outstanding case. But a lot of it would be just don't use that combination function. Or if you win a game, don't bid on another one until you leave your prior commitment.
Jim, and then Mike, and then myself. Just stand where Katie is. Can I get on camera?
Yo, people in chat have their hand up also.
No. Do they? No, I can't even do that.
Can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Katie, do I understand the goal of this proposal is to make sure that the newer, lower ranked refs get games because they're being frozen out?
To a certain extent, like there's also some people, like I know Chris Brewer would love to be out more, but he hasn't been able to win games because other people are taking multiple on a weekend. So it's, yes, our low level referees, I would love to get more games, but also some of our established referees haven't had a chance to get games very much this season either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if this needs to be a rules and bylaws amendment the way it's proposed, as opposed to, I think it's something that could be handled by the executive committee and or ref up somehow. I don't know how that thing works, but that's the way it could be handled. One of the things that struck me when you were talking was that, you know, somebody could easily go from Cook to Glendale to Jacobs. It's all very short. You wouldn't be late for, wouldn't be impacting on any game unless he's taking something away. And, you know, if they need them, they ought to be able to do it, even though it's 3 different venues. I think there's 2 or 3 venues within not as close, but close distance in Colorado Springs also. Same thing might happen. So I think, I mean, I think it's a good idea not to prevent any one person overloading. On the other hand, I don't know if it's something that needs to be a bylaw, rules and procedures change as opposed to something handled by the executive committee.
I'm gonna go Larry real quick, then Mike. I'm gonna go Zoom also. Larry, you have the floor.
I'm gonna shock everyone here by 100% agreeing with what Jim just. I like I agree with the intention of what this proposal is for. Like I think that there should be some guidelines and not having, you know, the same dudes get games all the time. Like there's times I bid on 6 or 7 games in a weekend and I don't get any of them. And I've bid on them in months out. And I, you know, tell my wife, oh, we're not going to do X this weekend. I'm reffing rugby. And then that weekend rolls around and I don't have games. So yeah, that's super frustrating. But I think it's cumbersome to make it sort of an amendment. Just make it where if the head or the chairman or whoever's going to manage it notices somebody doing this, you know, send them an email and go, bro, stop taking games away from people.
Okay, Larry, thank you. Mike Loy, you want to come up and have a quick chat, comment?
Thanks, Katie. In general, I'm in agreement with what you're proposing. I do, however, agree with Jim that I'm not sure that it needs to be formalized in the bylaws. But my major concern is this: imagine you have a scenario where a referee is at Cook Park and there's a serious injury to one of the players, and there may be a 40-minute delay while the emergency services are called. So that first game is very late in finishing. The referee is now under stress to get to his next appointment, wherever it may be. And heaven forbid, but there is also always a possibility that an accident occurs and that referee is responsible. Given the litigious nature of our society, I can think of these instances where we could be potentially at liability. So I just put that out. I'm not a lawyer. There's a very well-known lawyer here who can opine much better than I can on that.
Okay, we're gonna take one more comment and then somebody say on it. So Chris, go ahead. Chris,
Thank you. I don't have much to add, and I would be in agreement with the previous statements, starting with Larry. I think most importantly is that Katie brought it to the attention that if our goal is to develop referees and have the appropriate referees for their game, and everybody has an opportunity, I think maybe more importantly that you brought this up, Katie, for all the reasons that were mentioned. So while I'd be in favor of the rule, maybe not the amendment. And
Chris, speak slower.
unfortunately, everybody stole my thunder. Ditto for what Larry said.
Okay. Thanks everyone. And Katie, this is, I think it's a great amendment, or a great proposal to this. But I think the genesis of this is, look, we came out of COVID, and we were just happy that we had games again. And if anyone could do a game, happy days. Let's just get on with it. We changed our payment policy to pay you at a more professional standard, and that is also very enticing. I would very much love to referee an AR and coach and make $500 on a day. I would love to do that. I've often thought about inventing a time machine and getting some stem cells on my knees and coming back just to make that kind of money. Have some referees that are out of work needed to referee to make ends meet. That's a fair thing. That should be a viable product. I don't think it was managed previously by the EC, and this is not a slight on the EC. It's that they were the only 3 people doing anything. And my vision for this society is that all of you have something to add, and all of you should be looking for opportunities to add. Katie is in charge of recruitment and retention. She needs about 10 to 15 people out there helping her out. She needs a high performance RDO, she needs an RDO, and she needs a new ref RDO. Each of those roles is very taxing. They probably need 2 or 3 on a committee. We need to put some metrics into place for all of you to help us out. It's not just the 3 of us shaping the society and running everything and you guys complaining about stuff. We need you guys to help out. If you have a certain skill, like accounting, great. Paul needs some help reconciling some of the books. He obviously said he's not an accountant. If you're personable, like Mike Lawrence or Chris O'Malley, great. Get out there, recruit some people. If you're a great coach, like Joe Zevin, Jim Russell, Mike Bloy, Mark Huff, go out there and coach some referees. Get some more coaches going. If you're a high performance referee, don't take all the matches. Go take a match and then say, hey, I want to coach. We have the money to add you as a coach and give back to society. This shouldn't be a thing where I'm taking all the games because I need $750. It should be a thing where it's like, yeah, I want to take my game because it's fair for me. And then I'm going to give back and I'm going to AR for the up and coming referee. And I'm going to coach for the junior referee. We should all be looking to put our hands up and help each other up and help this organization up. That is my plan. So start thinking of what you can do and how you can help. I need help as a vice chairman. We need tons of people for development. We need people creating content. We need people on social media promoting this. Casey and Joe have done a tremendous job, but I've seen some of your Instagrams. You guys can help out too. All right. So think of a way. I'm going to be reaching out to all of you and thinking like, how can you help? Angela, Dale are tremendous admins. They help out. They could write a technical zone program that could beat probably any technical zone put out there. They run technical zone for World Rugby events for Rugby Town. There's tremendous knowledge in all of you. So think about, even if you're new, how can you help out? How can you learn to help out? All right, just something to consider.
Point of order before we vote. The amendment was submitted, so we are to vote on it unless Katie would like to withdraw it. There's always an option to withdraw her proposal for an amendment. So we cannot vote unless she decides she wants to withdraw. The other point is there was a talk about amending the amendment so higher level referees couldn't do lower games. That's a substantial change to that amendment, and our bylaws require 1 month notice on amendment vote. Doesn't have to be at the AGM, but if there's, and Jim, please double check, make sure I'm saying everything right here. But because it's such a substantial change to that amendment, it's probably not appropriate that we make that change. But if somebody wants to submit an amendment with 1 month notice, so we can vote on it next month or the next month or the next month. We don't have to wait for the AGM to do it. The vote is at the next meeting following the submittal. Yeah, you need 60% of the folks in good standing. Yes, sir, Jim.
Current language says the duly noticed proposed amendment need not be accepted or rejected in its entirety. May be adopted with such modifications as the members of RMR are deemed appropriate.
Okay.
The amendment.
Amendment can be changed. Oh, what's that? What did we do? Okay, so everyone should have a piece of paper. This is the vote on whether we want to amend the amendment as originally submitted that would provide for, and who's the one that brought it up, by the way? Katie brought it up. Oh, you brought up the amendment too. What are you proposing, George, or of George? I'm sorry. What are you proposing?
My amendment to the amendment is that that there be a top and a bottom availability to any level referee. For example, a level 6 referee could not bid or be awarded a level 9 game, a level 8 game. I'm not sure what that number would be. Just like a level 9 referee is not even offered a level 6 game.
All right, so Joe, since you're not proposing the actual bracket, would it be fair to say, would it be okay to say that you would ask the executive committee to determine what the higher level and the lower level
Works for me.
would be? Would that be okay?
Works for me.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's what, so the amendment is, we want to amend the original amendment to include a provision that would provide for the executive committee to identify or set standards as far as games above and games below the level that that particular referee may referee. Yeah, no, it does. That doesn't change that. It just would add this language to the amendment.
Can that just be a vote or voice vote?
Yeah. So you want to propose a hand vote on that, Joe? Then
Yeah, let's get that one over with.
okay, the amendment that Joe just described, we're going to do a hand vote because Joe has proposed that that be done on a hand vote. So, and that would include, we'll vote for the folks on Zoom, like we did before, either in a chat room or a text to Mark. So all those in favor of including that amendment Joe described in Katie's amendment, please raise your hand. Okay, all those.
Hey, Mark, it's Bill Cassidy. I just joined. Can you tell me how I can vote on Zoom for this amendment? I missed the first vote because I was out.
In this room, or you can vote by texting to Mark Nelson. So again, those that are in favor of the amendment as proposed by Joe to Katie's amendment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in person. This is yes to Joe's amendment. Okay, so it'd be a total of 10, right? Someone else count. Don't rely on me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 3 yeses. Okay, and Joe, you voted yes before. So you still voting yes? Okay, so it's total of 10 here. So it's total of 13. All those voting no to Joe's amendment, please raise your hand or vote on Zoom. What's that? No, this is to amend. Vote of the members voting. So those that are against what Joe has proposed, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What's that? 13. And how many do you have on Zoom and that are saying no to Joe's amendment? Okay. So now the next vote, and we'll do this on paper, guys, is Katie's original amendment that she read to you as unchanged. So we'd ask you to go ahead and vote on paper, and then we would ask that the Zoom folks vote either on paper if you don't mind it being known how you're voting, just you can vote on the chat room.
No. Yeah. Mike, what's this one for? Is that from the original? That's not for this? Two no's on. Two no's on. Okay. Don't have a proxy. We already have a proxy.
So what do you want to say?
No. That's accurate. I already voted no. Oh, Sunday I voted no and Rocky said.
Okay. We have a little bit of an ambiguity on the online vote. So, so we're going to revote, okay? Just to be sure. We can, papers to stand. We had 2 abstentions on the paper vote. So, so the papers to stand. We want the online guys to vote again, and either again by texting to Mark or in the chat room indicating yes or no. Yes, that you support Katie's amendment, or no, that you do not support Katie's amendment as written, or abstain.
Okay, guys, real quick. I don't want to keep you all night. I mean, I do, and we're gonna run fitness later. So, look, this amendment did not pass by 1 vote. But I will say this about this amendment, and I hear you, and I will speak for Paul and I will speak for Katie. We are going to nominate and find some RDOs who are going to manage this. And this can be taken care of. If we do find that Mark Huff is selecting 5 games on the weekend, it's very likely that Mark Huff is going to get a call and say, hey, what else can you do to help out? Can you coach? Can you AR? Can you lift someone else up? Do you need money? Can we loan you some money? Like, what is it? Like, what is it about that you need to do this? Okay. So we hear you as an EC, and and I promise you this will be managed. I know it is very difficult. There are so many roadblocks for you new referees to even get and take the level 1, to attend and listen to me talk for 8 hours and pass the level 1, and then come here and join ref up and do all this stuff. And maybe you're not getting games. Look, we want you all to referee, and we want to develop you. So your message is heard, and we as an EC will put steps to manage this, okay? All right. Thank you all again. Angela. Angela has a question, ref up. Yes. If you put 10 boosts on the Barbos game and it gets rained out, you get those points back. I would imagine as soon as that game gets canceled.
In my experience,
No longer than 2 weeks. I've heard some great ideas. I've heard some great ideas, and we're going to be talking to Steve to see if we can implement this. Maybe if you attend a meeting, you get 10 boost points. Just a thought. All right. All right. For those in attendance, for those on the Zoom, I'd like to thank you for your time and taking time away from your family and friends to help us. This is a very important meeting. I look forward, real quick, we didn't get a chance to do this. Could everyone just stand up and introduce yourself? Because there's some faces here I don't know. So my name is Mark Nelson. I'm now your chairman of Rocky Mountain Rugby Referees. This is Paul Johnson. He's our operations. Katie Roth is our new recruitment and retention. This is Joe Zevin. Yeah, this is Joe Zevin. Brandon Castro. Yeah. Mark Huff.
coach, and I run the sides a little bit.
Yeah. Brendan Kerfossi. Yeah. Joe Burpo.
Yeah. How about we do this?
Okay.
That's Mark Huff.
Yep. Mark Huff. Joe Burpo. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Joe Olivetti. Pleasure to finally meet you. Yes. J.R. LaPierre. It's good to see you again, old faces. Jim Russell. You shall not pass. Mike Blois, coach. Lucas, welcome. Good to see you. Jeff Puff, it's good to see you. Yep. Yep. Dale, Bruno. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. Mike, welcome back. Delaney, awesome. You're welcome to not get her name right anytime you see her. It's Brita, like cheetah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you again.
Oh, people online.
Oh. Oh, Kyle. Good to see you. Good to put names to the faces. Sundance, yeah. That's Bill Cassidy, if you don't know. Gus, good to meet you. Congratulations on your World Cup win. Steve Gore, say hi to Bo and Cara and Catherine. Let me scroll down here. Charlie Jones, good to see you doing the yeoman's work in Laramie. Thank you very much for doing all that so I don't have to drive up there and get the wind blown on me the whole time. Don Dowling, you want to show? Spencer Clark, you want to show? You turn the cameras. Going once, going twice, no camera here. All right. Again, thank you again. I look forward to an exciting 2024. If you would like to join us for an adult beverage or a kombucha or a hard cider or something, we will be having and buying a round of drinks over at the Bull and Bush. All right. Real quick, if you do not have write-on yellow cards or red cards and a coin, please come up and grab it.
Hey,